any change of leadership, there are going to be some kind of hiccups. But what I've seen from my perspective is that the incoming log cap contractor has been very receptive and very active in trying to minimize and mitigate the impacts of those issues. Right? So hopefully that's what you're seeing too. Change is change. A lot of people aren't happy with change for the most part. It's against kind of human nature. But we have to be comfortable with it. In the Army, it's one of the things that we do. Our job is change, right? To modify and adapt to change. And this is an Army installation, and we hope that we can all kind of, encompass that or, internalize that aspect and say, you know what, there's opportunity in change, and just kind of keep a positive attitude about that. 0 days of quarantine required in Honolulu. The garrison is still at 5 days. We're going to 3 days on July 1st. And we're currently planning to go down to 0 days in Honolulu on the 1st of August. Okay? Now, we have to figure out the testing stuff because the RMI is still requiring us to do some testing. And so we're trying to figure out how we're going to work that. And a lot will depend on what the RMI's requirements are. If the RMI requires, which they currently are asking for, a PCR test within 48 to 24 hours of flying, I may have to have a couple days in Hano to make sure I can get that testing done. People ask questions about UPH furniture, and I told you they were in the process of doing it. That is the case, right? We have now developed a life cycle management plan to replace UPH furniture. Right? We had some issues because the Army gives me money for Army family housing, but the Army does not classify UPH as Army family housing. So I had to fund it from a different pot of money, but I set some money aside to do that. And I think the plan currently is about within 3 years, we should have a steady life cycle management plan. I authorized about $500,000 this year to buy new beds and some chairs. We're working through the contractual stuff, but we should hopefully see that by the end of the summer. We'll see. But we have a plan. We're trying to replace that furniture and get you new stuff in the UPH sponsorship. So we've had some issues with residents of the UPHs, residents of the community in general, not just UPHs, having their sponsorees get in trouble. And so one of the things that we're really trying to codify now in the policy is we're going to start holding people accountable for their sponsorees. Right? And so if you sponsor someone and they get in trouble, you're going to be held accountable. Not fully, right, if they do something really bad. But there is going to be some administrative kind of actions or some response to, because your ability as outlined in the policy is you're responsible for what they do and their activities on the installation. So I just want you to be aware of that because it's important. We need to hold people accountable, right? Similar to that is retail violations. We've had an influx of retail violations, and not necessarily from the members of the community who live here. It's mostly from the Marshallese. But those Marshallese aren't going into the Class 6 and buying alcohol. They're not authorized to. People here are buying them alcohol, and they're trying to get it off the installation, right? You're not doing them any favors. And again, I'm not saying it's you here, right? People, right? We got 1,000 contractors. It's probably 15 to 20 that I'm really focused at, right? But you're not doing them any favors by purchasing them alcohol. Phones on the halls within BQs. I think we've resolved all that. We had issues with the laundry. We resolved that, but now they may be broken, right? But hopefully not. Hopefully the Vectorus is staying on top of washers and dryers, phones, and those critical mutual services that we provide in the UPHs. If that's not the case, as I'm getting slow head shakes over here, please bring that up here in a second, and we'll make sure we get on it, right? But we spent a lot of time making sure we repaired that stuff last time we talked, and if it's now gone into disarray, just let us know, and we'll make sure we get on that, right? And I'm not trying to give Vectorus a pass. They just got through transition. They're still trying to learn the business model out and figure stuff out. But I do ask that we try to be a little bit understanding that they are trying to figure things out, right? But if critical services aren't being provided, we need to know about it so we can turn it in. On that note, ARMA, right? I know ARMA is not the most user-friendly thing. I myself have had things in ARMA go away. I've had things in ARMA not be listened to for a long time. But it's something the Army has recently transitioned to, and we're still working out the kinks. But I do ask you to, if you have an issue, politely, just bring it up. Reach out to the housing managers, your building managers, and bring up those issues so we can try to address them. It is not functioning as it's supposed to, right? And it's only complicated by the fact that we have a new team coming in trying to manage a system they're just learning how to utilize, right? As you know, ARMA is now expanding to include all residences and all buildings on the installation. Came to me, and if you didn't know, the Army has some entitlements that allows college-age students for certain people within the DAC and the military to travel back to their families during the summer, which caused, as you would guess, a potential little impact here because the borders are closed, right? And then I'm only technically supposed to support mission essential personnel coming back to the island. It's the reason we didn't do it last year, right? But this year, when things had loosened up a little bit, it was enough for me to be able to go to the RMI and ask for permission or an exemption to the closed borders, and it was granted. And so rather than but it didn't seem fair to me opens that opportunity just to a handful of military and DACs. When I have a bigger community of people with college-age students, now there's a requirement on who can apply for this. But I ended up opening it up to the entire community, right? Anyone who had college-age students within some very strict parameters, like a certain age, full-time student, all this kind of stuff, at no cost to the U.S. government. That was the big caveat too. So families had to be willing to pay for the airfare, pay for quarantine, pay for meals. But if they were willing to do that, I allowed them on the installation. I have an open door policy. Me and CSM both do, right? It means anyone can kind of come schedule with us, come talk to me if you have any issues. And that's not just my office. You don't have to come. And what I'm going to now is I would be happy to come see you where you work if you have an issue, right? I'm not sitting on some throne of, in my office and expect people to report to me and talk about their problems, right? It's very intimidating, and I want people to be as comfortable as possible, right? And so I'm really trying to, if you want to do that, that's fine. I'll support that, right? If you want to engage anyone from my team, bring up a concern, I highly encourage you to do that, right? My team has also been instructed to be receptive to that, right? I will never, get on Captain Timoni here if he shows up 5 minutes late because someone from the community stopped him and had a concern, right? Barring any last-minute questions, I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to be here. Obviously, it denotes the fact that you care enough to come out in this crappy weather and be here on this day. But thank you very much. If you have any other issues, I'll stand by for a little bit and we can talk afterwards. That's all I got. Thank you.
The MWR department located upstairs in Building 805 is a heavy hitter when it comes to island activities and services. The office is accommodated by the Grace Sherwood Library. Here, you can come and lounge in the lounging area, check out some books, magazines, and even movies. Also, you can come get some work done on the computers. There's a children's area stocked with many great children's books. The Adult Recreation Center is located in Building 511. Here, you can come lounge around, shoot some pool, play foosball, air hockey, and much more activities. There's a movie room to come and enjoy some of your favorite movies. Do some work on the computers. Enjoy the records room that is full of many records. You can also check out the kitchen. Contact MWR for access and more information. Lastly, the ARC has a nice patio area stocked with many grill pits. A bit north of the island is the Ivy Fitness Center in Building 1740. Here you can shake off some of that weight and pump some iron. The Ivy Fitness Center is stacked with many different exercise machines for all of your fitness needs. On further north of the island is the CRC in Building 365. Here you will find racquetball courts, rooms you can rent, fitness classes, and the CRC gym. Please contact MWR for hours of operation and access to all facilities.